Hello, everybody. Welcome to Milkshake Funeral. It's been a minute. I've been down a dark path of gambling on Madden simulations. We'll do more on that at a different time. The PowerPoint thesis is don't do it. Also, I don't know how you all are spending some of your time shut in, although based on the video footage from Broadway, I don't think all of you are that shut in. But I am. And one thing I have decided to do is just consume as much streaming television as humanly possible, in addition to being on my fifth year of a Madden franchise that I didn't start that long ago, playing full 15-minute quarters. So, yeah, girlfriend is happy about that. One of those shows that I dove into is a little show you probably haven't heard of called Dark, or maybe you have heard of it. Netflix gave it a lot of promotion, so if you have Netflix, and a lot of you do, you will have seen it, as we Americans are wont to do. As soon as you realized it was foreign language and subtitles, you probably said skirt and backed out, a good portion of you, but I didn't. I forged ahead for you, and because subtitles don't really bother me that much. So Dark. So I basically watched all 3 seasons or 26 episodes in about probably less than a week. Don't ask, but about less than a week. And I have to admit, I had heard some comparisons to Stranger Things. Forget about that. This is not Stranger Things at all. I mean, to get purely technical, most of the character, I think there are a few little kids, but no one's cracking any jokes. So this show is pretty aptly named. And by the way, I'm going to spoil the hell out of this. I just watched 3 seasons. I don't feel like teasing anything. So I'm just going to get all this out while it's fresh. So this is your last chance. If you think you're going to watch it, I'm literally going to say everything that happens pretty much. All right. So what is Dark? So basically it opens with a forlorn teenager. His father has just committed suicide, and it just does not sit right with him. So he is on a quest to figure out why the hell his father would kill himself. And not that people always show symptoms or are depressed, or you can ever necessarily, you can always tell. It definitely caught them by surprise. So he finds a letter. All that said, it begins to lead him to the investigation of this cave. Now, keep in mind, the 3 seasons are very different. Like, the first season is very relationship driven, in my opinion. It's my opinion. It's my podcast. It's very relationship driven. Seasons 2 and 3 get further and further down. They move from soft, hot sci-fi to what we might call hard sci-fi. Hard sci-fi, Star Trek. Soft sci-fi, Star Wars. And so the first season is a lot of relationship building, a lot of people honestly just sleeping with everybody they can. So that's a lot of fun. But Dark is a sci-fi show. It is not like Stranger Things. It is actually completely devoid of humor. I cannot think of a single joke that was cracked. There is an instance where a woman ends up sleeping with both a woman's husband and her son. And you think when the woman confronts her, there might be like even a smart ass kind of, but no, when she confronts her, it's now look, you may be, oh geez. So Dark tackles, let's see. It tackles hypocrisies within the Catholic Church, nihilism, which for folks who aren't philosophy majors means basically nothing means shit. Life is meaningless. It tackles 3 different realities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different timelines, and probably a cast of 30 to 40 characters that all get some significant amount of time spent with them. So I don't want this to sound negative, because this is actually a really well done show. The beauty of Dark is that it explores all these themes, but it just owns what it is. So time travel, as Rick and Morty fans know, it's like the third rail of sci-fi. Like, I love Avengers Endgame. There are more plot holes in that thing than a dartboard that's been sitting in a dive bar for 50 years. Like, you could drive 18 wheelers through all of the plot holes that are in that movie, particularly all the unintended consequences that are going to spin off from all of their time travel hopping and the idea that they spun off a new reality every time you do something. I don't want to think about it. Dark keeps it really simple. That's funny I say that. 3 realities and 10, whatever, 6 or 7 different timelines. It owns the fact that time corrects itself. It doesn't necessarily talk about you spin off a new reality. There is a singular timeline, but in a way you can affect it and you can't affect it. But it just kind of owns it. It owns the fact, yes, we are doing time travel. By season 3, it owns the fact that we're doing multiple realities. And if you don't like it, go watch something else. So I do like that. It's a show that very much knows what it is. So basically, you follow this kid on this initial journey, and you start to realize that things are so much more complicated. You see menacing figures popping in and out, and it's just, for season 1, like every episode, there's some new mysterious person dropping in. There's people muttering things over and over. And you would think you'd start to get your head spinning. And really the only confusing part of this show, and it is mostly probably due to the fact that it is foreign language, it's really the names, because you get introduced to about 3 or 4 different time versions of every character. And then you also get introduced to their ancestors or their, or their children and grandchildren. And it can get confusing. Like, I do advise having the IMDb cast up, especially towards the end of the first season, so you can see names and be like, okay, that is that girl when she was younger, or oh, that is her mother when her mother was younger. So it's just this wild journey through 3 timelines. Excuse me, multiple timelines. I mean, honestly, let's do the math. 2 realities. There's 2 of the 3 realities you get to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 6 timelines. So you're looking at 12 timelines in Dark. A few things I want to compliment this on before we just jump right into winners and losers, because for me to try and tell you the entire plot of Dark, not that I care about telling you spoilers, you were warned. I can't even just sum it up. Technically, I don't know how so it was directed by one director, which is pretty much unheard of in these streaming series, because it went 26 episodes and most of them are 50 minutes to an hour. He and his partner wrote and directed every single episode. That's fairly unheard of for a streaming series, just about any series, honestly. But I see why it was so important that they do that, because when you're trying to hold together this massive plot that they no doubt, they must have gone in a bunker for months and plotted this out. This feat of plotting for this show should have won them some kind of award. Like, it's nobody's winning a best actor or necessarily best drama, but like it's amazing what they pulled off. I could sit in a room for a year and I don't know that if I could plot all this out like they did. So that's amazing. The production value is amazing. The acting's not as good as I think it comes off as. And we'll get to this in winners, they cast a lot of people that can really cry well and on demand. And as we all know, any of us former drama kids or anybody else, if you can cry, you got a leg up. Claire Danes, I love her. Man, tears, they're coming out. I mean, it's like she got her face rubbed with cayenne pepper or something. She can just do it. Everybody, man, woman, child, old, young, on this show, you can be like, go. And it's just, and single tears too. That's what's brilliant. They can well up their tears in one eye, and you just get in the other, you get the stream. The show deals with family a lot. Like, how important is it? How unimportant is it? How far are you willing to go to keep a family together? And then, of course, the overall thing is the idea of destiny versus fate. it's not an accident that they quote one particular quote in The Matrix, which is a series of movies for all its flaws, essentially about fate versus fate and destiny, not destiny versus fate. It's the same thing, but a destiny and fate versus free choice. And it's a show about sacrifice and loss. Someone is always dying, and even though you're going to see them either in another reality or another timeline, it doesn't make it a lot easier. They do such a good job of making you care about so many characters and so many versions of characters. So anyway, big shout out. This is an amazing feat of drama and production, and honestly, I've never seen anything like it. It's very ambitious. There's never a point in season 3 you start to get a little fatigued. Like, I wouldn't want to see a season 4. I was ready. I was ready for the end when it came, which maybe that's also a lesson from Dark. They quote Nietzsche quite a few times, but it had me. It had me while I was there. So Dark, that's just kind of your summary. It's a pretty sloppy summary for the most part, but here we go. Winners and losers. All right. Rain. I've never seen so much rain in one series. They have a character. I saw someone on Reddit try to say it's because they have a character named Noah. I'm not buying it. I did a little research also in this area of Germany. Like, it rains, but it doesn't rain this much. There's constant rain. And what's ironic is there is a foreign language show that is amazing called Rain on Netflix. So anyway, Rain is a big winner. Crying is a huge winner on Dark. Maybe I should quit being such a smart ass at first. Production value is a winner. They even go so far as in the alternate reality is they sort of like flip the construction of some of the buildings from the other reality, like it's the mirror reflection. The way it's shot is amazing. At about the 10-minute mark of every episode, they sort of do this like it's not a it is and it isn't a montage. They bring in some really good music, and they just start framing people up in these amazing like shots you'd see out of a music video, like a Fiona Apple music video is kind of what you get. Oh, and then also they do a very good job, particularly in the first season when you're starting to you guys have thrown like 20 people at me. Some of them are the same person, but multiple ages. I'm starting to get confused. They will start to do split screens where they will show this version and this version, and or this mom and this daughter that you didn't know was the mom and the daughter. This show's so wild. One woman is her own mother. This one I still don't have completely figured out. But anyway, so I want to a winner is just really ambitious TV making. But back to being a jerk. Endgame. I'm going to jump ahead to the very ending. So Endgame ending, or excuse me, not Endgame, Infinity War. They definitely saw Infinity War before the ending, and I really like what they did. I'm not going to tell you anything else, but y'all get that for people at home one more time? Okay. Caves. So the cave is a character in Dark. At times, and this is another way this show is brilliant, there's times when that cave, especially early on, like season 1, that cave is like a menacing, scary villain that's going to gobble you up. And by the end of season 1 and season 2 and 3, like that cave is a source of possible salvation. So caves, big winner. Emo kids, particularly German emo kids, they pretty much run this universe and essentially run it right almost into the ground in 2 of the realities. And the third reality, it's an old white guy causing the problems, which not a shock. Letters, handwritten letters. In a show about time travel and multidimensional travel, where there is another winner, which is gadgets and technology and teleportation devices, you would not expect a handwritten letter to throw a haymaker, but it does. Letters are a key driver of the plot, and another big winner for Dark. The God Particle. Okay, listeners, I did about 30 minutes worth of research before I started this podcast on the God Particle. Yeah, I can't explain it. It's a subatomic particle. I think it contains a massive amount of energy, and it may or may not cause the ultimate destruction of the universe. I don't know. The geek is not here with me today, and he usually can explain these things. Okay, so in terms of winners, that's what I got. That's mostly what I have. Landing the plane. So on a scale of the Hindenburg, I guess that was a blimp, not a plane, but it plays. On a scale of Hindenburg to Sully, the movie about the pilot that landed the plane successfully on the river and saved all those lives. In terms of landing the plane, where Hindenburg is Game of Thrones and Sully is probably Fleabag or any other series you can think of where it finished and you're like, that's it. They nailed it. Don't need anything else. And where Lost is probably dead center of that. I'm being generous, aren't I? Oh, Leftovers would be Sully. This is a fun game. I need to write this down. Podcast note, we're going to play Hindenburg v. Sully. This is good stuff. You guys are getting to see content as it's developed. It's a look inside the genius. All right, on to losers. Understandable family ties. I've already mentioned the woman who's her own mother. It's really the only one. It's the only familial connection I never could understand. So there's a mom and a daughter in present day. I'm just gonna workshop this. Y'all are here, right? You don't care. I'm gonna workshop this. So there's a mom and a daughter. The daughter survives in the post-apocalyptic future, grows up. She has a child with a man who is from the past but jumps to the future. That child ends up being her mother. I don't get that one. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna ding him on that one. As Ted Lasso would say, don't make no sense. Anyway, familial ties. The coolest thing is still, so this kid from the 2020 whatever gets sent back to 1986, where he grows up. He's not able to get back, and he meets a young girl, a teenager who's close in age. They end up getting married, so then he kills himself in 2020. The woman he married has an affair with a man. The man is married to the mom of the kid that got sent back in time. So she literally does sleep with the of age husband. They're the same age, as well as has an affair with his father. So she beyond the dad and the son. So it's kind of a stepbrother situation. She had the old bull, but then she wanted the young calf, or I guess that happened in reverse. Anyway, next. Third seasons can usually be pretty awesome. I thought this one, it was one of those, if you've ever seen the Rick and Morty episode where they're doing the multiple realities and things just start overpopulating and they just keep accidentally creating dozens and dozens and the screen is filled with them. That's how season 3 felt. It got really tough to track. They had a really cool close to season 2. A very, if you want to live, come with me, Terminator kind of vibe. But then it got confusing. Nuclear reactors, I'll just leave that. You're not going to want one in your town after you watch this. And then finally, and this is how we'll close out the podcast, bangs. So it's very unfortunate that it's unfortunate. Bangs are unfortunate anyway. And it's also unfortunate that they still are seen as fashionable even after the apocalypse happens. You would think that maybe people might be like, maybe the bangs caused the apocalypse because they're that terrible. But they're they seem to have gotten writers sometimes will get something just stuck, and I don't think they always realize it. One thing they did a good job of is they certainly used fashion and other cultural notes, technology to help you understand where you were, what timeline you were in. And here's how they know it got confusing in season 3. By season 3, they literally started just flipping through the years on the screen. I think they were just like, the hell with this. Like, we just need to be a little more blatant. But Bangs made the jump from 2020 to the like 2050, and I don't know why. But that's it. That's all I've got. That is Dark in 20 minutes. I would advise watching it. I would also tell you, don't be afraid if you get really bored with something to maybe skip a few seconds. You might miss something because that makes it sound like there's not a lot of wasted action or dialogue. It does get a little repetitive. I guess what I would say is it gets very moody. This is a very moody little show. This is your 13-year-old who just got back from the My Chemical Romance concert, and en route got a text from their significant other saying we're done, and you also just took away their subscription to, I don't know. Let's not say subscription. Let's just say TikTok was actually finally shut down. Like all these things. It's a moody little shit of a show. There are times when if you're feeling yourself like the pacing, when they do the set pieces with no dialogue, you can say you might not want to skip too much dialogue. All right, that's it. Have a great weekend. We're going to turn this Hindenburg v. Sully into an actual segment, and we're going to evaluate shows that ended well or not so well. All right, peace.